Hey guys, Stephen David Baker here. I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to share 2 practical tips about how you can increase your spiritual quotient. So let's get going. In the last video, I started a new topic and playlist, spirituality. That's because the purpose of this channel is to help you succeed, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So here's tip number 1 to help you become more spiritually sensitive and aware. Realize that you are a spiritual being. See, in the last video, I talked a lot about Marconi, the Italian scientist who was really the first to harness and use radio waves. To do so, he had to invent radio transmitters and receivers. Then he was able to use the radio waves. But with people, however, there's no need to build anything. That's because you have a spiritual transmitter and receiver built in. It's your spirit. You can find evidence of this in the Bible. In 1 Thessalonians 5:23, it says that people are made up of body, soul, and spirit. John 4:24 says God is spirit. Hebrews 1:14 says that angels are ministering spirits. They're spirits who help us. So think about how Genesis 1:27 says we're made in God's image. Which part of you is most similar to God, most made in God's image? Well, the part that makes sense is your spirit. Once you know this, that your spirit exists, that it's made in God's image, then something really great happens. You realize that being spiritual is totally natural. Think about it. Birds naturally fly. Dolphins naturally swim. People are naturally spiritual. It's who we are. And once you know your spirit exists, you can be much more open-minded and aware of spiritual things happening to you because they're normal. Let's move on to tip number 2, which is do more spiritual activities. How do you get better at anything in your life? Your hobbies, your work? For most people, it takes action, effort, learning, trying again. There's a struggle involved. Well, developing your spiritual side is really the same way. Have you heard that old phrase, use it or lose it? Well, that applies to spirituality too. If you want to expand your spiritual capacity and abilities, you have to work at it. When people find out they have a spirit, a lot of times they ask the question, what does my spirit look like? And I have 2 good answers to that great question. The first one is, your spirit looks like you. Your uniqueness, your face, your body, your spirit has a strong resemblance to you. Second answer is, it depends. Think of it this way. Let's say you went 3 days without food. How tired and weak would your body be? Well, in the same way, how weak would your spirit be if it never receives any nourishment? So you got to feed your spirit. How do you do that? Well, read the Bible, hear a sermon, talk with people about spiritual things. All of those will nourish and energize your spirit. And once that happens, you'll be much more likely to experience spiritual things. Here's one last point to consider. Imagine someone spent 3 days just sleeping 1 hour a night while getting drunk, staying out all night long, doing really shady, despicable things. How would they feel after those 3 days? They'd probably be exhausted, depressed, just a wreck, emotionally and physically. Well, their spirit would be affected in a similar way by those actions. People I know who have the capacity to see spirits, I've met several of them, have told me that they can see some people's spirits that look really bad. They're dark, weak, tormented, even ugly. Whereas other people's spirits are bright, beautiful, handsome, energized, and even might be taller than the person's physical body. So the point here is the condition of your spirit, to a large degree, depends upon your actions. So let's wrap up this topic about spiritual quotient. Being spiritually sensitive and aware, having a high SQ, depends a lot on how you choose to live. The more you do positive spiritual things, the stronger, healthier, and more connected your spirit will be. Can a radio with no power receive a signal? Likewise, the condition of your spirit matters a lot, so take good care of it. Read spiritual things, pray, meditate, sing songs. Put spiritual words to practice, even though it's hard. If you do these things, your spirit will be strong and energized, and you'll experience a lot of spiritual things. And then comes the fun part, which is figuring out, what do these things mean and what should I do about them? In the last video and this one, I talked a lot about spiritual things. So in the next video, I'm going to share 2 incredible spiritual experiences that happened to me. As always, thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this content, please click like and subscribe and tell others about it. Until next time, have big dreams, big thoughts, and big actions, because they will help you soar to success. See you later.